We're about to read a very inspiring story about a Jamaican hip-hopper who turned to become an Orthodox Jew. It's from the article at Mother's Helper, April 2009, by Colleen Smith. Kids, I want to tell you a very inspiring story about a black man who was born in Jamaica and turned to become an Orthodox Jew. I know you're going to ask me, how come he became an Orthodox Jew? Well, let me tell you a little bit about his life story. He was born in Jamaica, and he turned to a life of crime and a life of drug dealing, and after that, he actually became a very popular hip-hop artist in Hollywood. He threw that all away, which is totally amazing to me and to many other people, especially people who are from in the Orthodox community. He can give us inspiration and chizuk to grow in Judaism. He also can be a vehicle for us to eradicate cultural subdivisions and racial tensions among black and whites, religious and not religious Jews, and all people throughout the world. So he is a very inspirational person that can be the vehicle to inspire others to do good in life. It's not Yoseph Robinson's kippah or tzitzis that make him stand out in his Jewish community of Brooklyn. It's the color of his skin. Born in Jamaica and raised by his grandma Pearl until he was 12 years old, Yosef, like the other island boys, spent his free time swimming, fishing, and sneaking mangoes from the neighbors' yards. Meanwhile, his mother and father worked and resided in Midwood, Flatbush neighborhood of Brooklyn, often sacrificing their pride and honor for the benefit of their children back home. Yosef and two of his sisters were finally able to join his parents in the United States in 1989. It was a fantasy come true, Yosef said. Growing up in Jamaica, you thought the U.S. was Disneyland on every corner of the street. Yosef learned quickly, however, that life in the United States was not so easy. He often felt pressure to fit in with the cool kids, constant disobedience in school, and a strained relationship with his parents during his teenage years led Yosef to drop out of high school when he was only 16. Negatively influenced by a group of older kids and in need of money and a place to stay, Yosef entered an illicit world of drugs, drug dealing, street crime, and violence. Between 1993 and 2001, his reckless lifestyle pulled him from Brooklyn to the Bronx, to Philadelphia, and finally Los Angeles, where he was joined into the music industry. Although Yosef's hip-hop label was lucrative, he knew that he had to leave the materialistic, chaotic world of Hollywood and leave it behind in order to physically and mentally survive. At 23 years old, he turned to Judaism as a means to surrender control, accept humility, and educate. I was knocking on ignorance, surviving on street smarts, Yosef said. I was addicted to a lifestyle of indulgence. When Yosef opened the Torah, he read for the first time that God created the heavens and the seas. All of a sudden, I was standing in trepidation in front of God, he said. It started out as religion for me. It was a life-changing event, but not a life. But the more he enmeshed himself in the Jewish faith and doctrine, the more he felt freedom in the restrictions, and his life took on a structure. I was part of something that's what appealed to me, Yosef said. He describes his transition to Judaism as the most challenging of his life thus far. I've been through highs and lows, but this is complex. I couldn't have imagined it, being a religious Jewish guy who happens to be dark-skinned. Yosef is haunted by the West's ignorance that to be Jewish you need to be white and of European descent. Most people have never seen a black Jew, he said, and people constantly question how he can both be black and Jewish. It's cognitive dissonance for the average person, and you're left to shoulder their burden. I try not to carry it any further than right after it happens. I confront it, he said. Although Yosef admitted at times the ignorance affects him more deeply than others. Mostly he takes the opportunity to educate. In Judaism, you focus on the soul, the neshama, he explained, which can embody any physical vehicle or God. Once people suspend the idea that spiritual is not married to the physical, then it's easier for them to understand how a black man can become Jewish. Yosef is active in his local Jewish community, speaking about his experiences in synagogue. He also shares his transformation with the younger generation at city school. He hopes his book will help educate and build a stronger community between Jews and blacks, especially among the younger generations. I want people to see me as a respectful individual and base me on the content of my character and not the color of my skin. And I want to inspire people to do the same, Yosef said. I would love to inspire people to be the best human beings that they can be.
Is it possible for a black man to really be Jewish? And I've never seen it before.
It's true. It's really uncommon these days, but it doesn't matter about your skin color. It really is about your soul, which we call neshama, because it really doesn't matter if your skin color is different from ours. It just matters how your neshama acts.